Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, no problem.
We only have two. One's getting pulled. Yeah, he resigned. Yeah, he resigned. He said he moved. All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order at 6:01. Sorry about that. I was actually looking at the clock here in the chamber, and I suggest that supervisors shell out for the batteries to make it be on time.
Faster batteries.
So with that,
Faster batteries.
faster, yeah. Where's the Energizer Bunny when you need them? All right, well, I think we'll do the flag salute now that I've soaked that one. All right, welcome, everybody. We're going to take roll call at this time.
Commissioner Tuatavuki,
Present.
Commissioner Milas,
Here.
Commissioner Roostaller,
Here.
Commissioner Sangha. Commissioner Sangha is absent.
All right, we do have a quorum, so we'll move on. Any requests for continuances or withdrawals?
Yes, I have a request for item number 2 to be continued to the June 19th Planning Commission meeting.
Have a motion to accept.
I put a motion.
Yeah, do I have a second?
Second.
Take the vote.
Commissioner Milas,
Yes.
Commissioner Tulowitzki,
Yes.
Commissioner Roostaller.
Yes. All right. At this time, the public is welcome to address the planning commission on items of interest to the public that are not listed on the agenda. Comments to the commission are limited to a maximum of 5 minutes. Is there anybody who would like to address the commission at this time? Is there anybody on the phone? Moving right along. That'll take us to our first action item today, and I think we have a presentation. Do we?
Thank you. I have Jessica Leal here, Assistant Planner, and she'll provide a presentation.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. This application is a revisions of approved action for major subdivision number PA-0500469 to modify the Public Works condition of approval number 2I regarding the placement of utilities. The subdivision includes 114 parcels. However, the application only impacts the parcels along South Del Mar Avenue outlined in pink. The parcels are surrounded by residential uses on all sides, as well as a park to the north and commercial and agricultural uses to the south. If the requested revision is approved, the utilities that supply power to the residences to the west of the project site will remain above ground. This is the final map for major subdivision number PA-0500469, with the parcels affected by the revisions of approved actions outlined in red. In April of 2007, the Planning Commission approved major subdivision number PA-0500469 to subdivide 6 existing parcels into 114 residential lots. The final map was recorded in June of 2022. The applicant is requesting the condition be changed to include an additional exception for the above-ground utilities that supply power to the existing residences on the west side of Del Mar Avenue. If approved, the utilities that supply the power for the subdivision will be located underground, and those supplying the power to the existing residents on Del Mar Avenue will remain above ground. This change meets the development title's requirements and avoids putting any unnecessary burden on the neighboring residences. Prior to the submittal of this application, the Department of Public Works reviewed and supported the applicant's proposed changes. As a result, the Community Development Department recommends approval of the revisions of approved actions and recommends that the required findings can be confirmed in the affirmative, as analyzed in the staff report. This photo was taken from the east side of Del Mar Avenue, looking north along the project site. It is recommended that the Planning Commission adopt the findings and approve revisions of approved actions number PA-2400530 with the revised conditions of approval contained in the staff report.
Commissioners, any questions? All right, so this time I'll open up for public comment. So we'll ask the applicant or the representative to come forward. Please state your name and your address for the record. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Jonathan Leash. I work for LGI Homes. And our address, I believe, is 1450 Lake Robbins Drive in the Woodlands. I would just like to thank county staff for putting this together and bringing it to you guys. And I'm here to answer any questions you guys might have, as well as my boss to my right over here.
Any questions? No? No
All right.
questions?
Thank you, guys. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you. All right, at this time, are there any proponents of the project who would like to speak? All right, well, good. Is there anybody online? Is there anybody online at all tonight?
Public Works is on, participating
Okay,
online.
in case
but
we
that's
had
one person.
questions. Well, Okay, so now we'll go to the opponents of the project. Is anyone here to speak against item number 1? All right, there'll be no need for rebuttal. So I'm going to close the hearing and bring it back to the commission. This is when we deliberate. Anybody have any questions or comments about item number 1? All right. So would someone on the commission please make a motion to either accept or decline item number 1?
I motion that we approve item 1 as presented by staff.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the revisions of the approved actions for previously approved minor subdivision number PA 2400530 of the LGI Homes California LLC with the recommendations presented by staff. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Rustaller,
Yes.
Commissioner Tuvuki,
Yes.
Commissioner Milas.
Yes.
That'll take us to item number 3.
Let them do a seat change real fast.
All right.
And we have Cynthia Walsh with PlaceWorks that is going to provide a presentation.
All right, good evening. Cynthia Walsh with PlaceWorks. I have a short presentation on the housing element here, and then I will be available for questions. So quick agenda, we're gonna do a quick overview of the housing element. We're gonna talk about the Regional Housing Needs Allocation, also called the RHNA. We're gonna talk about the process that we've gone through with the HCD, Housing and Community Development Department, the review and the comments that we've taken care of there, and then our recommendation this evening. So as a little overview, the housing element is one of the 8 mandated elements of the general plan. It does need to be updated every 8 years. The current cycle that we are in is the 6th cycle, and that period started December 31st, 2023, and it goes till December 31st, 2031. And the biggest driving factor of the housing element is the Regional Housing Needs Allocation, or the RHNA, and that's where we determine sites within the county that are available for development. So speaking of the RHNA, this shows you the breakdown for the entire county. So you can see the unincorporated county, and the portion is 16.7%, and then each of the incorporated cities and their portion of that RHNA. So how do we meet the RHNA? We looked at several different approaches to meet the RHNA. We looked at constructed or approved projects, the Mountain House specific plan, which we will touch on in a little bit, the vacant sites available, looking at both residential properties and commercial properties. We also projected out accessory dwelling units, or ADUs. HCD allows you to look at your past trends, come up with an average, and then project that out over the next 8 years. So we took credit for those there. We took a similar approach with projected mobile homes, manufactured housing. We looked at employee housing, and then you can see our total capacity in that teal color on the far right. So for our lower income, which is your very low income and your low income combined, so we have a total capacity of 3,076, moderate 4,961, above moderate is going to be just your market rate housing. So we have 5,166 for a total capacity of 13,203. This is a summary here comparing that total capacity against your RHNA allocation, and you can see that we do have a surplus. It's a smaller surplus, but we do have one. So we have 107 unit surplus for your lower income category. Again, that's your very low and low together. 3,227 for your moderate, 1,061 for your above moderate, for the total of 4,395. This map is a little hard to read on one screen, but in the housing element, there are several different maps that kind of zoom in on the different areas of where we are meeting the RHNA within the unincorporated county. So we have been working on this housing element probably for the past 2 years, and the last year we've been working with HCD back and forth. Every time they we submit the document to them. The first review is 90 days, and each subsequent review is 60 days. So it eats up time pretty quickly. So you can see our first submittal was March 18th, 2024. We did receive a findings letter from HCD identifying additional revisions that needed to be made. We received that in June. Our second submittal was in September. We received a second comment letter in November. Our third submittal was in January, and then this February, we received a letter that says, you've met all of the statutory requirements. Once this has been adopted and resubmitted, it will be found in compliance. So that's a great letter to get. It means that we've checked all the boxes. So as we've gone through these revisions with HCD, the next few slides, I'm going to give you a summary of what we've incorporated. So your review of the fifth cycle housing element, this is where you look at the progress of your programs from the previous cycle. So we included additional accomplishments that the county had, mainly focusing on addressing special housing needs groups. The fair housing analysis, this was an entirely new piece of the document this time around, so there were several revisions in that section. We did expand the discussion on areas of high segregation and poverty. We expanded the analysis of racially concentrated areas of affluence, and we expanded geographically targeted outreach areas. So where were we going to focus our efforts within the county? Looking at the housing needs assessment, HCD requested that we incorporate newer point-in-time homeless data, so we did that. And then we also incorporated additional farm worker information looking at the farm worker housing study that was done in 2018. It does say Salinas, and they did want us to look at that document, so that's why that's there. For the sites analysis, this is a section that identifies where and how we are meeting your RHNA. So we added information on the cost of manufactured mobile homes, tying that some of those units are affordable to lower, moderate, and above moderate. Realistic capacity, this is the percentage that you apply to a site, so you can't assume that 100% of that property will develop, so we take a realistic capacity. So we took a 70% capacity on those properties. We also expanded our discussion of residential projects in commercial zones across the county, and we looked at surrounding jurisdictions and development occurring there. For the constraints section, we did an analysis of your cumulative impacts of development standards in the commercial and ag zones specifically, and then we expanded the analysis of capacity of service providers. This is always a little tricky when it comes to an unincorporated county. Where are the services available? Where's the water, the wastewater? So that took a little bit more time and effort. A few more constraints that we looked at, we included recent changes to the county's approval process permitting multifamily in commercial zones through ministerial review, and we expanded the discussion on local processing and permit procedures, looking at overall timeframes for single and multifamily, discretionary permits, reviews for CUPs and administrative use permits, and then approval findings for CUPs. For the programs, I won't read all of these, but for these select programs, we increased the quantified objectives. So what is our numerical goal for each of these programs? We adjusted those. We expanded geographic targeting. Again, where are we going to focus our efforts for these programs specifically? And then we added additional actions to programs 2.2-2 and 2-12. We revised timeframes. Typically, we try to extend the time frame, and HCD comes back and says, okay, we want that to happen a little bit sooner. So for these programs, we had to adjust the timeframes. As a part of this housing element, we are required to complete a CEQA document, and we completed an exemption. I'm just going to read this. An environmental assessment was prepared determining that the housing element is exempt from review under CEQA pursuant to section 15061B3, the common sense exemption. And here's our project schedule. So we are here, we've made it this evening to Planning Commission hearing on May 15th. Our next meeting will be before the board for adoption on June 17th. After that, we will need a copy of the resolution, and then we will submit to HCD for a certification review. So our recommendation, staff recommends that the Planning Commission conduct a noticed public hearing and adopt a resolution to forward the Board of Supervisors with a recommendation to adopt the findings for general plan text amendment and forward the Board of Supervisors with a recommendation to approve general plan text amendment number PA 2300242 to update the housing element for the sixth cycle, which includes the identified identifying how the county will accommodate the regional housing needs allocation, and find that the housing element is exempt from review under CEQA pursuant to section 15061B3, the common sense exemption. I do have one additional slide here, which has to do with our next steps. So as you saw in our capacity, we were relying on Mountain House to meet a good portion of the RHNA. So once the RHNA transfer has been finalized between the county and the newly incorporated city of Mountain House, we will need to go back and look at the sites inventory to ensure that you are able to meet that new allocation. So there will be some revisions there, which will require an additional submittal to HCD. They will not look at the entire document. It will be a focused review of just your sites inventory, and then it will need to be readopted and recertified. And that concludes my presentation.
Well, thank you. I do have a couple of questions. Can we go back to one of my favorite places, Mountain House? Okay, so it was pretty fast, so I'm just trying to understand. Mountain House is now incorporated, correct?
Correct.
So is there a transfer, you're talking about a transfer, so there's a lag time between them still being in the county and now being incorporated, and that's what's going to throw off the numbers?
I'm going to defer to staff on the status for the RHNA tree.
Yeah, so when we started this process, Mountain House was still part of the county. So when they incorporated, we decided, and we talked to HCD, and we decided to work our way all the way through this housing element. Then we'll go back and reevaluate the numbers that they should take, and we'll do the amendment to this housing element. We didn't want to kind of switch midstream. They recommended we just complete one step, then do the RHNA transfer, and then update our housing
Okay.
element. Yeah.
All right, I just wanted some clarification on that. So, I have another question, and I don't know if it really has anything to do with this, but it seems mobile homes is a way of satisfying all this need, especially for lower income folks. You say that it's more affordable. Is it more affordable for them to rent, or is it more affordable to buy a mobile home?
Sure, our analysis looked at purchasing mobile homes. Yeah.
I have a question. Just regarding the point in time regarding homeless, what does that mean?
The point in time count is done, I believe, every 2 years. And it's just a certain select few days that everyone, there's a group of individuals that will go out and survey and kind of gather homeless count information.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And when was the last count taken?
I believe it was 2024.
All right, is there any other questions? Everybody satisfied? Then Chair will entertain a motion to accept item number 3.
I will entertain that motion, to accept item number 3.
All right, it's been moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, before I say call for the vote, I was supposed to ask if anyone was either a proponent or.
correct. Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Is there anyone here, a proponent would like to speak? Is there an opponent to this item who would like to speak this time? So no need for, so even though I did jump ahead, we have corrected it, it's on the record, that the public hearing was a little cattywalker, but it's fixed now, so I will now call for the vote.
Commissioner Milas,
Yes.
Commissioner Tavuki,
Yes.
Commissioner Rustaller.
Yes. So item number 3, general plan amendment number PA 2300-242 in San Joaquin County 2031 housing element item has passed with the recommendations suggested by staff. And moving right along, is there any other business, any announcements?
Thank you, Chair Rustaller. Jennifer Jolly, Director of Community Development. I do have a couple of updates from some items that went to the board previously. One was regarding a text amendment that did a lot of cleanup of the development title, but the biggest update was for the mobile home food food vendors, mobile food trucks vendors. We were just talking about mobile homes. So that did get approved by the Board of Supervisors at our last meeting on Tuesday, May 13th. There was one other item that went on appeal from a previous planning commission for a variance and minor subdivision that the planning commission had actually denied. It was appealed by the applicant, and it was denied by the Board of Supervisors as well. Coming up on our next meeting, there's only one board meeting in May, so our next board meeting is June 3rd, which we are doing the budget, as well as hearing some other items. One of them is that we are moving that abandoned vehicle abatement program from CDD to the sheriff's office, so that will be officially done on June 3rd. And the only other thing I'd like to mention, actually, I should give you the update that the fire fees were also accepted as proposed, so we were happy about that. That will end up getting adopted with our budget in June as well. We have a pretty big project we're working on in the county right now. You may have heard about it. It's called the San Joaquin Bee Well Project. It is, without getting too into the weeds on it right now, because we haven't actually released the environmental information, but it's essentially a very important project for this county that is addressing multiple things that our healthcare services department deals with, including, how would I describe it? Corinne might be able to describe it a little bit better, but it's essentially providing services for people with addiction and drug and alcohol addiction, things like that. It's a really great project, and we're going to definitely have more information to share with you. But I did want to highlight that it's coming to the Planning Commission tentatively on the 17th of July. So it would be really wonderful if we could have everyone here. We'll reach out to our other commissioners to put that on their radar as well. We're on a very, very tight time schedule. It's significantly grant funded. I'm going to just keep saying it's a really exciting project for this county. So, but we have to meet these deadlines. So July 17th is the date to be here. And other than that, I don't have anything else to announce. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any comments? Yes, sir.
So on that Be Well project, are the cities and municipalities involved? Or?
So it is a county project, but the cities are also very excited about it. And I'm not 100% sure on the funding if they've contributed, because our department's not really involved in the funding part of it. But it will be utilized by the entire region.
So does that include VA? I know we have a VA hospital.
No, I don't believe it's related to the VA
Okay.
services at all.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything? All right. This meeting is adjourned.